In the previous class, we started the basis for DNA fingerprinting, genetic fingerprinting, or DNA profiling. What is DNA profiling? To identify accurately a particular person, the phenotypic characters are not accurate. They can be changed with surgeries. Either the printing found on the palms or fingers or forehead or chin, toes. So accurately we can identify every individual person by his DNA sequences in the form of a print, in the form of a photograph. This process is called DNA typing, DNA profiling, or DNA fingerprinting. And as we said, we discussed in the earlier class, the basis for the DNA fingerprinting is polymorphism. Polymorphism means genetic change in the DNA composition at genetic level. DNA sequences are changing, and these changes are accumulating from one generation to another generation, even though they were not found as genes to form structures, but they were present in every individual as his own structures, which are found in the DNA sequence, in the form of DNA sequence, and every human being is having his own specific DNA sequence. And in DNA fingerprinting, we are going to identify two persons, person A and person B, based upon his genetic differences. And this DNA fingerprinting is useful in forensic studies to identify the crimes, murders, or rapists, and it is the surest, best technology to identify disputed parentage. Disputed parentage means maternal or paternal disturbances. For a child, whether he has born to this father or that father or which mother, to identify, it is the best method. And this method was first developed by Alex Jeffrey. Later in India, Professor Lalji Singh, Dr. Lalji Singh of CCMB Hyderabad and Kashyap are founders in India. Stepwise process. DNA profiling or DNA typing. Stepwise process. First step, isolation of DNA they have given. So in the process of DNA fingerprinting, the first step is isolation of DNA. Question comes, what is meant by isolation of DNA? Separation of DNA from the cells. Simple meaning, separation of DNA from the cell. What is meant by separation of DNA? Human body is made up of cells, so many cells, millions, billions of cells, and each and every cell consists of its own cytoplasm and nucleus. In nucleus, chromosomes. In the chromosomes, DNA. And here in the chromosomes, when DNA is present, it is mixed with so many membranes or so many other chemicals, lipids, polysaccharides, RNA molecules, proteins. So many will be there. So we have to remove this DNA, get rid of with all other chemicals. Only pure form of DNA has to be separated. The process of separating pure form of DNA from the cell is called isolation of DNA. separation of DNA from the cell. So for example, if we are taking plant cells, we are not going to conduct DNA fingerprinting in plants. Animal cells. Animal cells means cell wall is not there, cell membrane is there. To remove the cell membrane, to separate the various cell organelles, a process called ultracentrifugation. Simply, ultracentrifugation. In a centrifuge apparatus, we can separate the cell components by ultracentrifugation. DNA from the cell can be separated by various methods. Different methods are there to remove proteins. Protease we have to use. To remove RNases we have to use. Amylases to remove lipids or polysaccharides. So various types of enzymes are there which will remove, because DNA is present inside the cell, inside the nucleus, associated with several other chemical molecules. So first step is isolation of DNA. Then question comes, sir, from which cell you are going to isolate the DNA, sir? Isolation of the DNA, first collection of the sample. What is sample means here? If we are going to use it for forensic studies to identify the murderers or rapists, from the crime scene, we have to collect sample. Collection of the sample from the crime scene or from the disputed parentage, mother and father, or by taking. So here collection of the sample includes sperm, saliva, blood, semen, vaginal swab, root, hair, root of the hair which is called follicle of the hair, any skin. So like that goes on, collection of sample. If any material is available there at a place of a crime, a murder or a rape or disputed parentage, we have to collect that sample. Sample is nothing but maybe a single cell or a group of cells. From the sperm or saliva, from the blood or from the semen or vaginal swab or hair follicle, even skin, all these are called having cells. From these cells, by a process of ultracentrifugation, we have to remove all the cell organelles, cytoplasm, and finally we have to extract or separate the pure form of DNA. This process, by removing all other cell components, extracting only pure DNA. So again we will study this topic in the biotechnology part, isolation of DNA. A large paragraph they have cited in the textbook NCERT. By removing all other cell components, extracting only pure DNA is called isolation of DNA. Isolation of DNA. So first step in the DNA fingerprinting, genetic fingerprinting or DNA profiling. So at the place of a murder, investigators, scientists will go for search of any sample, any material which is useful as a tool to identify generally. For example, victim may be there, suspects may be there, and at the place of that any murder, any crime, so many types of cells may be available, so many types of skin cells, different DNAs. Those DNAs we will collect. So collection of DNA or isolation of DNA from the sample. And it was written that for the DNA fingerprinting, 1 microgram DNA is required. 1 microgram of DNA is required from this any material. If the required amount of DNA is not available in the crime spot, if required amount of DNA, how much? 1 microgram is not available from the spot, from the crime scene, or from the bodies of the organisms, human beings, not available. The DNA, the available, whatever available DNA can be sent for PCR technique. What is this PCR technique? Simply polymerase chain reaction. For example, we want this much of DNA, but only this much is available. Then we want this much, So PCR is a technique, polymerase chain reactions. Polymerase chain reaction with the help of some specific enzymes in specific devices. Some specific machinery is their device with the help of some enzymes. A single DNA molecule which is this much available can be multiplied, amplified into thousands and millions. So it means, for example, we have taken one DNA, this much sample, but it is not sufficient. We want more. How? We are going to separate this by a process called. So DNA molecule, 2 strands are separated. Based upon these separated strands, again new strands are constructed. So finally, at one cyclic reactions, at one chain, one DNA finally will becomes 2 DNA molecules. Same. So one cycle, 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 16, 32, 64, goes on 128. So within a cyclic period of 20 to 30 cycles or generations, millions, approximately 1 billion molecules of DNA can be obtained. So polymerase chain reaction, it is not compulsory, but it is an addition. If the amount of DNA required for the process of DNA fingerprinting is not sufficient, then we have to go for polymerase chain reactions, which can be multiplied to obtain thousands of copies, with which with great ease we can conduct the further process. So my dear students, first step, isolation of DNA, collection of the sample in the form of cells, maybe in the form of sperm or vaginal fluids or saliva or hair follicles or skin, nails, blood, any sample, and from that we have to remove the cells. From the cells we will separate the cell organelles, and finally we are able to isolate pure form of DNA. This process is called isolation of DNA. Additional, If amount of DNA required is not sufficient, we will go for polymerase chain reactions. The detailed process we will study in biotechnology. So simply to understand, polymerase chain reaction is that where one DNA molecule can be multiplied into hundreds, millions, 1 billion approximately after 30 cycles. That process. So now we are having by the first step DNA in pure form, isolation of DNA. Second step, they have given digestion of DNA with restriction endonuclease enzymes. Here, into fragments. To understand it clearly, digestion of the isolated DNA with the help of restriction endonuclease enzymes into fragments. The process is somehow complex and difficult unless we know the meaning of this. Digestion means breaking, cutting the DNA into pieces. Digestion means the DNA which is isolated here, for example, this is the DNA isolated. This DNA, with the help of some enzymes, we have to cut the DNA into pieces. The process of cutting the DNA into pieces or fragments of various sizes is called digestion of DNA with restriction endonuclease enzyme. Here, my dear students, the science of genetic engineering or biotechnology or DNA fingerprinting depends upon several aspects of molecular biology discoveries. Among those, one discovery which was happened in early 60s and concluded in 70s, starting 70s, that is some enzymes are discovered which can cut DNA at some specific areas. So for example, this is the DNA, this much of DNA is available here. So our scientists discovered some enzymes which can cut the DNA, not everywhere, at some specific areas. These enzymes are called restriction endonuclease. What is a restriction endonuclease enzyme? In simple terms, the enzyme which is used to cut the DNA at various places. Which places? Some specific areas. What are those specific areas? Name is restriction endonuclease enzyme. The areas are called restriction sites. What are restriction sites? Some specific DNA sequences are present. Some specific DNA sequences are found. What are those specific DNA sequences present? The specific DNAs are called palindromic DNA sequences. Palindromic DNA sequence. Here, listen carefully, my dear students. So, first step, isolated the DNA, and second step, digestion of DNA with the help of enzymes. It means cutting the DNA with the help of enzymes. So, I wish to give that information, not detailed. We will study this detail in biotechnology again. Here, that information, restriction endonucleases are the enzymes which will cut the DNA at some places. Those places are called restriction sites for the enzyme, cutting place for the enzyme, and at that some specific sequences are present. What are those sequences? Those sequences are called palindromic DNA sequence. Let us see this. This is DNA. It is having GAATTC. Some other sequences are there. Again, for example, again some other sequences are there. So these are the areas. They were called specific. GAATTC. A palindromic sequence in the DNA. A palindromic sequence in the DNA is that sequence which gives the same meaning when we read in opposite directions. If we read 3' to 5', GAATTC, 3 to 5, this is 5 for example, and this is 5'. When we read opposite direction, GAATTC, GAATTC, same meaning. So the sequences of DNA which will be giving same meaning when reading opposite directions, anti-parallel. Such sequences are called palindromic sequences, and these are specific DNA sequences. For example, here GAATTC, specific. And these are palindromic sequences which are specific. What is meant by specificity here? Each and every palindromic sequence is having its own specific enzyme. What is that enzyme? Restriction endonuclease enzyme. Restriction endonuclease enzymes are those enzymes which will search the DNA and they will identify some specific regions in the DNA, and only at these specific regions they will cut the DNA like this. They will cut the DNA. So when they cut the DNA, hydrogen bonds will break. Same here also, they will cut the DNA at a specific place. Now, this part of the DNA is a fragment, a piece. If these sequences are present here, the more the sequences, the more the fragments. And the fragments are based upon their composition, based upon their length, based upon their repeated units. They were separate, which are called satellites. Satellite DNA molecules, or mini satellites, or microsatellites, or variable number of tandem repeats. The fragments which are nothing but variable number of tandem repeats. And what is this? Digestion means separation, cutting. Some enzymes are discovered which can cut DNA at some specific areas. Those enzymes are called restriction endonucleases, and those areas are called palindromic DNA sequences. In general, the action of the restriction is at this area, no? So they are called restriction sites. And what is a palindromic sequence? A palindromic sequence is that a palindromic sequence is recognition sequence for a specific restriction endonuclease enzyme, another name. So every restriction endonuclease will have its own specific palindromic sequence. So what is a palindromic sequence? Palindromic sequence is nothing but recognition sequence. Recognition sequences. So how many terms are there? How many names are there? This is what the molecular biology made become difficult to the student's mind. Same with different names. So restriction endonuclease is an enzyme which will cut the DNA from the center at different places. Endo, inside. And what is meant by restriction means, to understand this, bacteria are there. When bacteria are attacked by some phages or viruses, the virus will send its viral DNA into the bacteria. Bacteria is having its own DNA, bacterial DNA. If it is found here, it will capture the bacterial body and finally it will kill the bacteria to develop its own copies. Number of copies will be produced, multiply, grow. Virus will grow inside the bacterial cell. But here, what is happened, our scientists discovered that some defense mechanism is existing in the bacteria to avoid its infection or to stop its growth, to restriction, stopping, controlling, checking. So here, this bacteria is producing some enzymes which are called restriction endonuclease. What does it mean? When this bacteria produces enzyme, this enzyme will act on the DNA of virus, which will cut the DNA. So if the DNA of virus is cutting down, it is not going to grow. It means the growth of the bacteriophage or virus is stopped, restricted. So that's why the enzymes which are capable to cut the DNA are called restriction endonuclease. Here one question comes into the mind. Sir, if the bacteria is producing restriction endonuclease enzyme which can cut the DNA, why it is not cutting its own DNA? It can cut its own DNA, no? It is an enzyme, it has to cut the DNA. Why it is not cutting its own DNA? Because they have identified bacteria is producing not only one enzyme, another enzyme also, which is called methylase. This enzyme, it will add a methyl group to the DNA. So when it is adding methyl group to the DNA, its own enzyme cannot cut its own DNA. Own enzyme, restriction endonuclease, cannot cut its own DNA because of methylation. Oh, it means it is protecting itself from its own enzyme, self-protection, and it also protecting its body from other organisms' DNA, that is virus. So it is going to stop the attack or growth of the virus. This is called restriction. So two types of enzymes are identified in the bacterial body. One is methylase and another one is REN, restriction endonuclease. Methylase will add methyl group to the DNA of bacteria to protect from its own enzyme. Because of this methylation, it cannot cut its own DNA, but it can cut another DNA which is present in the body. This is called restriction. By cutting the nucleic acid, DNA, restriction endonuclease. So, restriction endonucleases are those enzymes, and our scientists observed so far different hundreds of types of restriction endonucleases. And each and every restriction endonuclease will identify a particular palindromic sequence. For example, I have shown you here, it is a palindromic. What is a palindromic sequence? A palindromic sequence is nothing but a sequence of DNA which can be read in same when read in opposite direction. When the orientation of reading is same, it gives the same meaning. For example, CCC, GGG. CCC, GGG. It is a restriction endonuclease site. It is having some specific enzyme to cut. GCAT, CG. CC. So we can create CCATGG, CCATGG, CCATGG. So palindromic form is a specific DNA sequence which can be read in opposite directions. These palindromic sequences are also called recognition sequences. Recognize. So every palindromic sequence is recognized by a particular restriction endonuclease enzyme. So restriction endonuclease enzymes are specific for a recognition sequence. And the place where they are going to act, that is called restriction site. So restriction site also gives it the same meaning. Restriction site, palindromic sequence, recognition sequences, all these are three same, which is identified or recognized by a specific restriction endonuclease enzyme. Now our second step, first step is isolation of DNA, digestion of DNA with restriction endonuclease enzymes into fragments. See here, with the help of restriction endonuclease enzyme, different enzymes, different recognition sequences. They will recognize a particular sequence. They will go to the area and they will cut into pieces. Here, here, here. This is one piece. Here, here. So these are all various fragments. Enzymes are discovered which can cut the DNA. So various fragments are obtained. DNA which is isolated in the first step, it made into pieces, into fragments, which is called digestion with restriction endonuclease enzymes. Now fragments are there. Third step, fragments are there. Here, here, here. So many fragments. Third step, separation of DNA fragments by gel electrophoresis. Separation of DNA fragments by gel electrophoresis is a technique. Gel electrophoresis technique is developed to separate various fragments based upon their length and based upon their charge. Generally, electrophoretic plate consists of an electric plate with various well, means these fragments which are generated in the second step will be dropped by these wells, through these wells. These are dropped through these wells. And in this electrophoretic plate, the matrix is having agarose gel. Agar, seaweed, agarose gel. Agarose gel is having sieving action. Sieving means porous action. And this electrophoretic plate is connected to electric field. Electric field. Electrophoretic plate having wells and agarose gel. Gel is having porous nature, sieving action. And the whole device is connected to electric field. Our DNA molecules are negatively charged because we have studied because of phosphate group, phosphoric acid, negatively charged. DNA fragments are negatively charged, but here these DNA fragments which are dropped in the wells, various wells, they will be forced to move. They were forced to move to anode which is having positive charge. From negative charge to positive charge. Generally, in galvanic cells, anode is negative charge. You might have known, well known of chemistry. In galvanic cells, anode is negative charge. Cathode, positive charge. But in electrolytic cells, Anode is taken into positive charge. Cathode is taken into negative charge. So this is the difference. Normal galvanic cells, anode is considered as negatively charged, cathode positively charged. What electric field is supplied, it means when electric field electrodes are, anode is called positively charged. Since negatively charged DNA is forced to move to positively charged anode. Positively charged anode. So when it is moving DNA by the electric field in the agarose gel, we are not able to see the DNA because it is that much very small. Electron micrograph only. In the visible light, normal light, we cannot visualize the DNA fragments. But to identify, to see the DNA fragments, we have to apply a dye. This dye is called ethidium bromide. Ethidium bromide. When ethidium bromide dye is applied, that color is orange in color, which is absorbed by the DNA fragments, and we are able to identify DNA molecules like this. When we observe this, DNA fragments, larger fragments are nearer to the wells, whereas small fragments are far away from the wells. So small fragments move far away from the source here, gel, where well we are dropping the fragments. They were forced to move. It means separation of DNA fragments based upon their size or length. Smaller fragments, being small, they were moving fastly, migrating to the other pole, that is anode. They were forced to move with electric currents, electric field. The process of separation of various fragments based upon their length is called restriction fragment length polymorphism. Restriction fragment length polymorphism. So the process of separation of fragments by gel electrophoresis in a electrophoretic plate consists of agarose gel, electric field, negatively charged DNA, positively charged anode. So various fragments of various lengths will be seen here, whereas larger fragments at the base near, smaller fragments go away from the. This process is called separation of fragments by gel electrophoresis. Third step. So let us see. First we have isolated DNA. We cut the DNA into various fragments. So the fragment depends upon the size of the, and where on both the sides they were having restriction endo, they are flanked by restriction endo. Just I have shown you in the previous class. I explained some specific sequences are there which are flanked on both the sides by restriction sites. Restriction site means the place for the action of a restriction endonuclease enzyme, or the site which is having a palindromic sequence, or the site which is having a recognition site for a specific enzyme. So three names are same. Second, we have broken down into pieces or fragments. Now to separate in an order, they were separated into various sizes by DNA fragment, restriction fragment length polymorphism or electrophoretic plate. Now fourth step is cutting the double stranded DNA molecule or splitting the double stranded DNA molecule into single stranded forms by applying alkaline chemicals. They have not given this specifically in the NCERT book. Fourth step, by applying alkaline chemicals splitting double stranded DNA into single stranded DNA fragments. By applying alkaline chemicals, so these double stranded DNA molecules, by applying alkaline chemicals, are made into single stranded. See, let us see here, single stranded. So, for clear cut visualization, like this, with N2 bases. So what are removed here? Complementary strand is removed. So N2 bases are projecting. Fourth step, double stranded molecule becomes single stranded. Now the most important part of another technique, that is Southern blotting technique. Fifth point, Southern blotting technique. What is this Southern blot technique? It was first discovered by E.M. Southern, so the name has given in his honor. Discovered. What is this technique? Says that this technique involves the shifting or transfer of these single stranded DNA molecules, single stranded DNA is transferred to a nylon sheet or nitrocellulose sheet. Nylon sheet or nitrocellulose sheet. From where? From the electrophoretic plate onto a nylon sheet. Transfer of DNA single stranded from agarose plate onto the nylon sheet or nitrocellulose sheet. The process of transferring the single stranded DNA fragments from the agarose gel plate onto a nylon sheet by a process which are by a blotting method, transferring method. Some blotting papers will be there, they will be pressed on this and removed. So they were shifted or transferred from the block to nitrocellulose sheet. This process of transferring or shifting from the electrophoretic plate to the nylon sheet is called Southern blotting technique. Fifth step, Southern blotting technique. So again, isolation of DNA, cutting the DNA into pieces, various pieces are separated based upon their size, then pieces are double strands are developed into single strands. Fifth one, they were transferred from electrophoretic plate to nitrocellulose sheet. Now, sixth step, hybridization. With a DNA probe. What is this hybridization? We are having various fragments here. See here, this one, large one, so already they were single stranded, which are called, there are various fragments. The hybridization with a DNA probe means, question comes, what is a DNA probe? When Alex Jeffrey started this experiment, he has prepared a single stranded DNA, complementary DNA, complementary to maximum possible variable number of sequences he has collected and prepared this DNA. So, which is having complementary base to the fragments, by collecting various, he has prepared a single stranded DNA, cDNA or DNA probe. This DNA probe is having variable number of tandem repeats, various. So in the laboratory, Alex Jeffrey has prepared a DNA probe which is nothing but a VNTR, a single stranded chain, DNA chain, having VNTRs, various number of sequences, which are complementary to the sequences. This is the most important for the DNA fingerprinting. Discovery of cDNA probes or complementary DNA probe. Probe is that which identifies, like a satellite, it will go and catch the complementary. So hybridization means already prepared VNTR probe, a single stranded DNA is used as probe, prepared in the laboratory with various variable number of tandem repeats which have complementarity to the DNA fragments. A single stranded DNA probe prepared in the laboratory, various types we can prepare, which are available in the market nowadays, probes. Various variable number of tandem repeats which have complementarity to the DNA fragments. So he has taken a probe, he sent onto the nylon sheet where single stranded DNAs are there, he sent hybridization. So when probes are moving, these probes will identify some sequences and they will bond with complementarity. If they were not bonding, why not bonding? If any mutation occurs in the body of that organism, in the DNA, that mutated one is not having complementarity in the probe. So those areas will be neglected, remaining areas it will form bonding. This is called hybrid DNA molecule. Hybrid. So the process of attaching double-stranded DNA, the process of formation of double-stranded DNA with the help of a probe is called hybridization. The DNA probe. Hybridization. Now, next step. To identify where they were formed, these DNA probes are called radioactive substances, labeled with radioactivity. So radioactivity labeled are there, they were going to hybridize. Wherever complementary bases are there, they will form double-stranded structures. And the total, this sheet was made into a X-ray film or developed into X-ray film. So X-ray, how we are going to go for X-ray? They will see inside in the X-ray film to identify the locations of radioactivity or whichever areas they were formed. To identify, we are taking X-ray film. The X-ray film will give us the location of those DNA sequences which are complementary, having complementarity. And this X-ray film in this X-ray film, the DNA appear like dark bands. Wherever DNA is bonded, they appear like dark bands. This process of identification or identification of the areas where DNA is joined is called autoradiography, tracing the radioactivity. This process is called autoradiography. It means the X-ray film which is developed on the sheet, it consists of different bands of DNA, and these bands are specific. It has a pattern. Every human being is having his own pattern. No two human beings will have the same pattern except monozygotic twins. So this is, finally they will develop DNA fingerprinting of a particular person. A particular person's DNA is having like this. This is a specific for a person, and different people, different pattern, different bands. So each and every human being is having specific unique sequences of his own. Those are accumulated in his body by his mutations, by his various generations, and it is found in every cell, starting from the toe to the last finger or hair. In every cell, same polymorphism, and every cell consists of same DNA sequences. So from the skin, or from the lungs, or from the eyes, or from the saliva cells, or from the sperm or semen, or blood, or follicle of the hair, any fluid of our body consists of cells, and in every cell, same DNA will be there, and no two human beings will have same DNA pattern, and this is called DNA fingerprint, DNA type of that particular human being. And how we are going to use this? It is a beautiful, good forensic tool to understand the rapists. If rape occurred, we have to take the victim's body, collection of samples other than her body. If 3 or 4 members are suspected at that place, who might have having that conspiracy of someone, or actually commitment for number 1, crime 1, crime 2, crime 3 person, are committed persons. Out of the 4 or 3 suspects, only one is committed the murder or rape. They will collect the samples, they will create the DNA fingerprints of the victim at the place of the crime spot, and they will see. In the match, if they were, the principle of the DNA fingerprinting is, if it is a disputed parentage, boy or child consists of 50% of mother and 50% of father, which are having same. If they are said some father 1, father 2, father 3 out of 3 fathers, exactly we can locate which father's DNA is matched with the child's DNA. And in the crime scene of rape, from the body, if the woman was died or available information, exactly they can find out the DNA extracted at that place of crime is having this pattern, which is comparable to the suspects. Suspect 1, suspect 2, suspect 3, suspect 4. Out of these 4, whichever suspect is having same similarity in the pattern of bands, he was identified as the person who involved in the rape or murder. So, out of these 7 steps, in the 4th step they have not given in the NCERT. This question, the details of this question are given in various other topics of biotechnology, principles and processes, where you will study details about autoradiography, where you study in methodologies, you will study about ELISA test, PCR test, and you will study the process of gel electrophoresis or extraction of the DNA molecules for some other purpose, PCR technique. Here only it is a compulsory question for the PUC student at the end of intermediate or PUC. And from these 7 steps they will take sentences, they will ask jumbled, which is first and sequence of stages in a orderly form, ascending order, descending order. So the forensics, it is useful to identify the people who are migrated from one country to other country, or it is used to identify the dead bodies of people who are under a crash in an accident, how many are. So DNA fingerprinting responsible to understand the genetic variability and speciation, the process of evolution, how organisms have evolved, what changes happened to this man, which leads to him, how he was born, what might be his father and mother, whether he belongs to this community or this location or other location, all these. So DNA fingerprinting is having wider applications. See, my dear students, from the textbook, try to understand. If it is possible, we will repeat this. All the best.